Good. All right. It is 10 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. We are going to begin, and you're hearing my voice, Susan Koenig, even though I'm in one of the little boxes, and you are focused on seeing Karen Meyer. And Karen is going to continue her series, and we are, if you're following in the book at all, even though she has changed it to suit her experience and vocabulary and all kinds of updates since Thomas Hanna wrote the book. We are basically in lesson 4, and Karen will be doing themes and integrations from past classes as well as lesson 4. And Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can go ahead and introduce yourself and what you're going to do, and then go right into class.
Okay, thank you very much, Susan.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And, and we're recalibrating lesson 4 in Thomas Hanna's book. And recalibrating lesson 4 enables us to know more clearly that with every movement we make, we always are moving in 3 planes of motion: backward and rotating.
Karen,
Thomas,
let me interrupt. Your sound is a little funky. It's kind of
ah,
stuttery. So I don't know if,
yes, that could be something. That could be something, Susan, to do with the internet.
okay,
As I was saying yesterday,
okay,
um, the internet hasn't been that great
okay. We'll bear
where we
with it.
are.
We can still understand you. I just wanted you to know.
Yeah, I've got the microphone right up next to me.
Okay, good.
So the blipping is probably as a result of the internet, which has been very, very, very low
Okay, no
with
problem.
us here in Cumbria.
We'll do, we'll
Um,
do, we'll
so
do that
we'll
procedure.
do the best we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're recalibrating lesson 4. And in recalibrating lesson 4, it's enabling us to know more clearly that with every movement we make, we always are moving in 3 planes of motion: backwards and forwards, side to side, and rotating. Thomas Hanna organized a basic sequence of somatic movement that brings our conscious awareness into these 3-dimensional planes. Recalibrating Thomas Hanna's 8 basic lessons with me, Karen Meyer, lets any person new to Hanna somatic education or who may be experiencing some form of limitation in how they move, think, or feel to gradually build a fundamental vocabulary of movement to which they can always refer. You will pick up lesson 4 far more easily after lessons 1, 2, and 3 have been consistently practiced until they are familiar. Lesson 1 emphasized backwards extension, lesson 2 forwards flexion, and lesson 3 side bending or lateral flexion. As you reach lesson 4 in the sequence, the 3-dimensional movement of rotation becomes your focus. Every other lesson subsequently in the sequence is a combination of lessons 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you will come to experience your movements from all 3 dimensions with greater conscious awareness. Lesson 4 draws attention to that beautiful twisting sensation in your trunk. You are developing your somatic literacy and beginning to recognize the length you are gaining in your trunk, the freeing across your ribs, neck, and shoulders, and across your pelvis. So We're going to begin standing. So before we actually begin, you may like to ensure that your practice area is already prepared. You will be coming down to the floor, lying on your front and also on your back. And we can modify the time that you spend in these positions depending on what's comfortable for you. And you are becoming more skilled in your knowledge in lesson 4 as to what is comfortable for you and what isn't. So prepare your space, and you have enough space to walk around, taking a few steps, and have plenty of supporting materials, blankets, and a bolster perhaps, and some extra blankets that you may need for your comfort. So as you are standing, you're feeling your uprightness, and you are feeling your balance. You're finding your weight distribution around your feet. And where are you looking on your horizon?
As Karen comes back, we'll put Karen back on. But let me continue to go through some standing and walking assessment. Karen was bringing us through weight in our feet, how we feel the weight in our feet. And, I don't know exactly what Karen had in mind, but we're going to do some general things. So just right off the bat, do you feel more weight in your right foot or your left foot? When you go to your right foot, where is your weight? We're going to look at 4 areas: the heel to the ball of the foot. So do you have equal weight or more weight to the ball or the heel of your right foot? And we're going to look at the outside of and inside of the right foot. So do you have more weight to the outside, to the inside, or do you feel very well distributed? And maybe you also aren't sure, and that's okay too. And then going to the left foot, those same 4 points, heel to ball. Does one or the other have more weight, or are they pretty equal? Or maybe you can't tell. And to the outside and inside of the left foot. So these are just some nice guideposts, and depending on what Karen does at the end, or if I'm still presenting, we'll take you back through some of that. And also you want to feel, one of the things we like to emphasize is the body works as a whole. It isn't that you can't move your shoulder. Of course you can move your shoulder, but the brain body organization is always full body. So when you move a part of you, you're actually moving all of you. When you move one thing, everything moves. And so as you just scan yourself, one of the nice things about relating breathing to standing is that breathing, when we breathe and inhale, our whole body expands directionally, meaning we go up and down and side to side and rotation and forward to backward and on all the diagonals. So as you want to increase what we call your upright standing, it's like if you tell people to stand straight, they tend to go really rigid. And that is not good posture. That is not helpful. But as you breathe and inhale, let your whole body expand. It expands top to bottom, side to side, front to back, on diagonals, 3-dimensionally all around. And then as you exhale, there's a slight condensing or contracting as you come back in, omnidirectionally. So stand for just a moment and breathe and see if you can feel, even if you add your imagination to it, it's okay. See is as you inhale, you can let your whole body omnidirectionally expand from your fingertips to your toes to the top of your head, your front, your back, your pelvis, your belly, everywhere. And then as you exhale, you slightly condense. And then as you inhale, omnidirectionally you expand, you get taller, you get broader, you expanding in all directions, and then as you exhale you gently condense a little bit, and then rest and just see, rest in standing and see if maybe that helps you feel taller, broader, more in touch with yourself. And now of course we're continuing to breathe, but we're not so much focusing on it. And then take a little walk, and you don't have to stay in your screen. You're going to just take a little walk. I'm going to kind of stay within the screen because sometimes people like to peek and just make sure they're doing the right thing, which is just walking around a little bit. And you want freedom as you walk. You want flow. You want ease. Mostly people are in a kind of confined space. You're probably not outside. My room is pretty small. It's pretty narrow. But I can still walk and sense freedom. I can feel my legs and my arms, opposite arm and leg, are swinging together. My chest is rotating opposite my pelvis. It's a contralateral rotation. And I'm walking with my whole body. I can bring my attention to my feet, or I can bring my attention to my arm swing, or I can bring my attention to where my eyes are gazing. And all of those, and our body is constantly every millisecond, our bodies everywhere are changing and reshaping around the movement we are doing, and we are always moving. Breath is a movement, thinking is a movement. Blood circulation pumping through your body or flowing through your body is a movement. Your nerve conduction, certain activities are more highlighted. That is movement. We are always moving and reconfiguring ourself every millisecond of our life.
Susan, would you like me to carry on?
Yes,
I'm
I
very,
would. Thank you so much. I was just waiting for you to come back, and now I'm going to spotlight you
yeah,
again. I don't know
yeah.
what you heard, but I just carried on as best I could.
Thank you, Susan. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, let me find you. Here you are, and spotlight, replace spotlight. There you are. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So um, we'll go back to, I'm just starting again, essentially. Um, so we're beginning standing. And as you are standing, feel your uprightness and your weight distribution around your feet. And where you are looking on your horizon. Very slowly transfer your weight more in the direction of the pads of your feet. You're feeling
That
your
means
weight.
the pads of the feet. Where are you? The whole
You're
foot is.
feeling your weight coming through your toes. And you may be feeling this in other parts of you. You may like to bring your attention all the way up and down the back of your spine, from the top of the back of your head down to the top of the back of your pelvis. And from there, very slowly, transfer your weight through your feet in the direction of the back of your heels. And your knees may like to bend a little bit more. And you may be feeling this in your shoulders or in other parts of you. And where are you looking on your horizon as you do this? And slowly release out of that and come back to where you feel most balance. And pause for a moment. Has anything changed? Very slowly transfer your weight in your feet so that you're feeling a little bit more weight on the outside edge of your right foot and the inside edge of your left foot. And then intentionally bring most of your weight into your right foot and leg, allowing your left leg to soften at the knee, allowing your left knee to bend. And notice how you are shortening in your right waist and you're lengthening in your left side from your waist down and from your hip and your waist up. Slowly transfer your weight, bringing yourself back up to center. Noticing where you are looking on your horizon and whether anything has changed. Slowly transfer your weight over so that you're feeling more weight on the outside edge of your left foot, the inside edge of your right foot, and then intentionally transfer more of your weight, most of your weight, into your left foot and leg. And feel how you are shortening in your left waist and lengthening in your right side. You are exploring that side to side movement. And bring yourself back up to center, noticing where you are looking with your eyes. And then intentionally transfer your weight once more into your right foot and leg and hip, allowing your left knee to bend. And from there, leading with your pelvis, bring your right side of your pelvis forward and take a step forward with your right leg so that you're bringing your right leg ahead of you and you're feeling now most of your weight on your front right leg. And take another step forward. And before you go into that movement, as you are bringing the left side of your pelvis ahead of you slightly, feel what's happening. You're feeling what's happening in your left pelvis, and also notice what's happening in your right shoulder as you take a step forward with your left leg. And continue taking a step forward. You're going into walking. And you can start off slowly and giving your attention to what's happening in your pelvis and your shoulder on the opposite side as you are taking a step forward. And then go into walking as if you are taking a lovely walk, speeding it up a little bit. And motor plan how you are going to come down onto the floor, lying on your back. And then when you are ready, come down to lying comfortably, supporting yourself as you do so on the floor. And it's nice to come over onto your side first, and then roll over onto your back. Give yourself plenty of time to make yourself comfortable. Supporting underneath your head, perhaps with an extra blanket, or placing a bolster underneath your knees if that's more comfortable today. And bring your awareness to where you are feeling your weight the most. On the left side and the right side of the back of your head. Your shoulder blades. Does one shoulder blade perhaps bear more weight than the other as they're making contact with the floor? And your pelvis. Does one side of your pelvis feel heavier than the other? And in your feet, are you feeling your weight more on the inside edges or the outside edges of the back of your heels? And let's begin with a brief reminder of the movements that you have done so far in your sequence. Let's begin by raising each knee in turn and sliding each foot along the floor and standing your foot, and so that both of your knees are raised in the direction of the ceiling and your feet are standing on the floor. And begin that lovely movement of very slowly and gently lifting your waistline. You are contracting those extensor muscles all the way up and down your spine, and you're rolling in your pelvis in the direction of your tailbone. Slowly release out of that. And you are beginning to contract in your abdominal muscles in your front as you are lowering your waistline. Your pubic bone and your breastbone are moving in the direction of each other. And then slowly release out of that. You're beginning to engage those muscles, particularly in your lower back area, as you roll in the direction of your tailbone, and you have a slight arching in your lower back area. And then as you release out of that, you're releasing out of your arch. And as you are engaging your abdominal muscles, you're inviting the muscles in your back, either side of your spine, to reciprocally lengthen. And continuing with that movement in your own rhythm, very slowly and very gently. The next time you are ready to bring your waistline slightly closer to the floor, bring both of your hands behind your head, and as you are lowering your waistline, your pubic bone and your breastbone are moving in the direction of each other. Bring your elbows in the direction of each other. You're lifting your head, if that's comfortable, ever so slightly, and you're looking in the direction of your pubic bone and feeling how your breastbone and your spine are moving closer together. And slowly release out of that. You're using your voluntary control to release out of this movement. You're allowing your elbows to come apart from each other. Your arms are releasing, and your front is releasing as the air comes into your lungs. And allow your arms to release by your sides, and allow your legs to go long, and rest. And when you are ready, roll over onto your front. And as far as you can, you are keeping your head in contact with the floor as you roll over. And it may be that you're resting your forehead on the back of your hands, and you may like to simply alight your head, not actually lifting your head, just alighting it so that you're feeling those contractions all the way down your back. And you may be feeling the release of those contractions as you allow your head to come back to rest. And in your practice, this may be enough for you on your front, and you may like to come over onto your back. But if you would like to continue going into your back lift, you can, if you like, turn your head to your right. Your right hand is close to your head comfortably, and your left arm is coming down your side. And you may like to motor plan the movement before you make it. You're going to be lengthening in your left leg along the floor until it feels like it would like to lift. And when it would like to lift, at the same time, you're going to be lifting your hand, your head, and your elbow. And you're going to be looking as if you are going to be looking over your right shoulder. And so when you are ready, very gently, you're turning your head to your right, and your left leg is lengthening along the floor. And when your left leg feels as though it would like to lift, your right hand is in contact with your left cheek as you are gently lifting your head, your hand, your elbow, and your left leg, coming into your back lift, and then very slowly feeling the release as you come out of that, and rest. And pause for a moment. And bring your left hand back in the direction of your head, supporting your head as you very gently turn your head to your left. Your right arm is coming down your side, and go into that movement the other way. You're coordinating the movement, and you're making these movements into a voluntary movement. And you're lengthening in your right leg along the floor, and when it feels it would like to lift, at the same time, bringing your left hand in contact with your right cheek, you're lifting your head, your hand, and your elbow away from the floor at the same time as lifting your right leg. And feel the contraction there. And then with infinite slowness, release out of that movement, feeling the release as you slowly come back down to the floor with your leg, your head, your arm, your hand simultaneously, and rest. And roll over when you are ready, bringing your left arm back in the direction of your head, supporting your head as you roll over onto your back. Taking your time, and raise your knees to the ceiling, standing your feet once more, each in turn. And go into those same movements of rolling in your pelvis, very gently lifting your waistline, gently rolling in the direction of your tailbone. You're making a very gentle arching in your lower back area. And then slowly, as you release out of that and as you lower your waistline, you're going very slowly and very gently. You are beginning to lengthen those muscles that you have been contracting and releasing while you were on your front. And just go into that 1 or 2 times. And in your rhythm, when you are ready to lower your waistline, you may like to go as if you are going to lift your left foot away from the floor. And as you do that, feel what's happening in your trunk and feel what's happening in your right shoulder as if you are lifting your left leg. And then just slowly allow your left leg to come back. And continue with that rhythm of rolling in your pelvis, lifting your waistline, and then releasing out of your arch. And as you bring your waistline closer to the floor, bring your right hand behind your head. And you may like to exaggerate that movement a little bit and if it feels comfortable for you, as you're lowering your waistline, to bring your left knee and your right elbow in the direction of each other. And you're only going as far as is comfortable. And if you don't want to lift your left foot away from the floor, that's absolutely fine. And then very slowly release out of that movement. Very slowly, so that your head and your foot are returning back to the floor at the same time. And you're releasing your right arm by your side and continuing with that lovely rolling in your pelvis, lifting your waistline, rolling in the direction of your tailbone, releasing out of that, and then very gently lowering your waistline. And as you do that, you may like to go as if you're going to lift your right foot away from the floor, but you're not actually lifting it. And you're feeling what's happening in the rest of you as you do that. And you may like to bring your attention to what's happening in your left shoulder. And then slowly allow your right foot to come back to rest. Continuing with that rolling, you're lifting your waistline, rolling in the direction of your tailbone, releasing out of your arch. And this time, as you are finding your exhalation and you're bringing your waistline closer to the floor, bring your left hand behind your head, and you may like to bring your left elbow and your right knee in the direction of each other. And feel that shortening in your front. Feel how your left shoulder is moving in the direction of the right side of your pelvis, and then slowly release out of that movement and rest. And allow your left arm to release by your sides, and allow your legs to go long and rest for a moment. You may be resting your knees over a bolster. It is whatever is most comfortable for you. And you have given yourself a brief reminder of that forwards and backwards dimension of movement and side to side dimension of movement is where we're now going to go. So to give ourselves a reminder of that side to side dimension of movement, bring your attention to the right side of your pelvis and gently draw the right side of your pelvis into your waist gradually. And then when you feel it, you've gone as far as is comfortable, slowly release out of that. And now bring your attention to the left side of your pelvis. You're drawing the left side of your pelvis into your waist in the direction of your ribs. And then very slowly release out of that. And this time, when you draw the right side of your pelvis in the direction of your ribs, gently squeeze your armpit in the direction of your pelvis. You're shortening on that side. And you're allowing your arm to rest where it is. And you're using those muscles between your ribs to squeeze your ribs and your armpit and your pelvis in the direction of each other, and then slowly release out of that. And go the other way. You're squeezing the left side of your pelvis and your left armpit in the direction of each other so that you're shortening on your left side and lengthening in your right side. And notice where your head would like to go in these movements. Slowly release out of that. And in your own momentum, alternate that movement once more. So you're shortening in your right side. You're drawing your right side of your pelvis and your armpit in the direction of each other, shortening on that side. And you may be feeling this as you're shortening in your right side. You may be feeling the length in your left side, and you may like to lengthen your left heel a little bit along the floor to exaggerate that length a little bit more if you'd like to, and then slowly release out of that. And then go into shortening in your left side by bringing your left pelvis and your left armpit in the direction of each other. You're squeezing them together. You may like to lengthen your right heel along the floor a little bit to feel the length that you are creating in your other side. And then just slowly release out of that movement and rest. and give yourself a few moments to feel your internal sensations from those movements. You're bringing your awareness all the way around the perimeter of the center of your trunk. And you're enjoying that experience of lengthening those muscles. You may be feeling this in other parts of you. And now bring both of your arms, leaving your legs long or over a bolster. Bring both of your arms in the direction of the ceiling. And look at your arms and your hands and bring the palms of your hands together and your fingers. And your arms are as straight as they can comfortably be in the direction of the ceiling. And from there, follow the movement of your arms and your hands with your eyes, and only going a very small way, move both of your arms and hands over to your left. It's a very small movement, and bring your attention to what's happening in your left shoulder blade and the underside of your right pelvis, and then slowly release out of that movement back to center with your arms in the direction of the ceiling. And pause for a moment. And you're going to be going into that movement once more. And you're using the learning from the first time you made that movement to refine how you go into this movement for the second time. You may like to make the movement smaller and slower, and you're following the movement of your hands and your arms with your eyes, bringing your awareness to what's happening in your left shoulder blade and the right side, the underside of the right side of your pelvis. And then slowly bring your arms back to center in the direction of the ceiling. And let your arms come back down to rest by your sides. Stand both of your feet once more and raise your knees in turn. And keeping your knees at approximately hip joint distance apart, very slowly bring both of your knees over to your right. Not very far at all. It's a very small movement. You are only going as far as you can comfortably return using your voluntary control, and then very slowly bring your knees back up to center in the direction of the ceiling. You're feeling what's happening to your weight on the underside of your pelvis. So when you go into that movement a second time, you may like to motor plan it before you make it. And you're going to be bringing both of your knees over to your right, and you're going to be noticing what's happening in the side of your waist and the underside of the left side of your pelvis, and what's happening with your head as you do that. So when you go into that movement very slowly, You're not going very far at all. You're feeling what's happening in your weight on the underside of the right side of your pelvis and the length that you are gaining in the left side of your waist and where your head would like to go. You're lengthening across your trunk from your pelvis across and to the side of your neck. And then slowly bring your knees back to center. And allow your legs to go long. And feel your internal sensations from those movements. Raise your arms once more, and you're bringing your palms of your hands and your fingers together, and very slowly bringing both of your arms and hands over to your right. And does it feel different this way? What are you feeling on the underside of your pelvis when you do this? And then very slowly bring your hands back to center. You're following this movement with your eyes. And then when you are ready, go into that movement once more. You're following the direction of movement of your arms and your hands with your eyes. Bring your attention to what's happening in your right shoulder blade and the left side, underside of your pelvis. And then slowly bring your hands and your arms back to center. And is it different on this side compared to when you moved your arms and hands to your left? And slowly let your arms release along the floor. And raise each of your knees and stand each of your feet in turn. And bring your knees over to your left. And you may be feeling that this is a familiar movement. As you are bringing your knees over to your left, just a very small way, you're perhaps feeling a little bit of weight more on the underside of the left side of your pelvis, but you may be feeling that lovely length in the right side of your waist, and you may find your head turning. And just allow your head to go wherever it would like to go, and then slowly bring your knees back up to center in the direction of the ceiling, very slowly. And when you are ready, go into that movement once more, bringing both of your knees. They are approximately hip joint distance apart. You're bringing both of your knees over to your left. You're feeling the length in the right side of your waist and into the right side of your pelvis, and possibly into the side of your neck. And very slowly, using your voluntary control, come out of that movement. And then allow your legs to lengthen. and rest. And we're now going to bring those two movements together. Begin by bringing both of your arms in the direction of the ceiling and your hands. And the palms of your hands and your fingers are closely held together, and raise each of your knees and stand each of your feet on the floor, and begin by moving your both of your hands over to your left. And as you go into that movement, feel what's happening in your pelvis and where your knees would like to go, and follow that movement with your knees over to your right, and only go as far as feels comfortable for you. Your knees are slightly apart, and you may be feeling that lovely little bit of a twisting sensation in your trunk. And then slowly bring both your knees and your hands back to center in the direction of the ceiling. And the next time you go into that movement, bringing both of your arms and your hands, keeping your hands together, and you're bringing your arms over to your left. And when you begin moving your arms, you're moving in your head and your neck and in your shoulders, and feel where your pelvis would like to go. And you're bringing your knees over to your right, and you're feeling that lovely length. You are becoming longer. You are lengthening, and you are feeling what it's like to lengthen. And it's the opposite of being under constant stress, the opposite of fear, and the opposite of effort. And you're slowly coming back to center in the direction of the ceiling. And you may like to pause there momentarily. You may like to rest. You may like to lengthen your legs and bring your arms back down to rest on the floor, or you may like to continue. This is your practice, and it's whatever is the most comfortable for you. And when you are ready, go the other way. This time you're bringing both of your hands that are held closely together and your arms over to your right. You're feeling that rocking in your shoulders, and notice what's happening in your pelvis, where you're feeling your weight. And you may be noticing that your shoulders and your head are going one way, and your pelvis and your knees are going the opposite direction. And you may be having that lovely twisting sensation going on in your trunk, and slowly come back to center in the direction of the ceiling. And pause for a moment before you go into that movement once more. You are learning to release involuntary muscular contractions of trauma and sustained stress that you feel as problems with your shoulders aching, arms hurting, fingers and hands that perhaps feel tight and sore. and you are gaining length in your trunk. You are lengthening, you are softening in your trunk. And notice your feeling of your breathing. And you're coming back, bringing your arms back to the floor and your legs long, feeling the lengthening and the softening. And rest for a moment. And let's bring those movements together in a slightly different way. Bring your arms out from your sides a little bit further to approximately 45 degrees or perhaps 90 degrees. Bring them out as far as feels comfortable for you. And keeping your legs long for the moment, bring your awareness to the tips of your fingers in one of your hands, along your arm to your shoulder, into your shoulder blades, and across your shoulder girdle to your other arm, and down to your fingertips of your other hand. And you're going to be rolling in your arms. Begin by rolling your right arm so that the palm of your right hand is moving more in the direction of the ceiling. And at the same time, the palm of your left hand moves more in the direction of the floor. And you are gently rolling in your arms. Your arms are maintaining contact with the floor. And you may feel that your head would like to turn more in the direction of the palm of your hand that is facing the ceiling. And very slowly, rolling in your shoulders and in your arms, slowly bring the palm of your right hand more in the direction of the floor and the palm of your left hand more in the direction of the ceiling. And this is a very gentle movement. And you may be feeling what's happening in your shoulder blades as they're making contact with the floor. And pause there for a moment. And your head may have turned so that it's looking more in the direction of the palm of your left hand. And slowly rolling in your arms and in your shoulders, feel how your shoulder blades are moving as they're making contact with the floor, so that the palm of your right hand is facing the ceiling and the palm of your left hand is facing the floor. You may be feeling that your shoulder blades, your left shoulder blade and your right shoulder blade, are making slightly different contact with the floor. And then continue that movement until it's becoming familiar for you. Rolling in your shoulders, rolling in your arms. You're bringing your attention to what's happening in your shoulder blades. And as your head is gently, perhaps turning to your left in the direction of the palm of your left hand, which is now more towards the ceiling, and your right hand, the palm, is facing more towards the floor, you may feel how your left shoulder blade is perhaps slightly making more contact with the floor, and your right shoulder blade is perhaps a little bit lifted away from the floor. And just explore that once more, so that you're rolling in your arms, you're rolling in your shoulders, and you're now looking into the palm of your right hand. Your left palm is facing the floor, and pause there and raise each of your knees towards the ceiling. Stand your feet on the floor in turn. And as you are rolling your arms so that the palm of your left hand is moving more in the direction of the ceiling, right hand more down towards the floor, feel what your pelvis would like to do and move both of your knees to your right. And then from there, rolling in your arms and rolling in your shoulders. At the same time, you're bringing your knees back up to center and then gently bringing them over. You're rolling in your pelvis and you're rolling in your shoulder girdle as you are gently looking more in the direction of the palm of your right hand, which is more towards the ceiling, your left palm more down towards the floor. And continue with that movement in your own time, slowly and gently, and making the movement smaller. You're only moving your knees a small way. And you're feeling how, as your head and your shoulders are moving one way in one direction, your pelvis and your knees are moving in the opposite direction. And then slowly, when you have your knees over one way and your shoulders and you're rolling in the opposite direction, just allow both of your knees to lengthen long along the floor and rest. And give yourself a few moments to feel the feedback you are receiving from those movements. Feel that lengthening and the softening that you are achieving. And you have been exploring that rotation in your trunk. And this is the way that your trunk lengthens most easily. And when you are ready, bring yourself slowly and gently over onto your side. If you can, keeping your head in contact with the floor as you do so. And take your time. You have been lengthening and releasing many groups of muscles. And you're keeping your internal awareness as you bring yourself to upright. And as you're bringing yourself to upright, you may like to bring yourself to sitting before you bring yourself to standing. slowly maintaining your internal awareness. And as you come to standing, give yourself a few moments to feel what is the most prominent to you. Feel where your weight is in your feet and where you are looking on your horizon. Bring your awareness to the movement in your breathing. And very slowly transfer a little bit of weight more in the direction of your toes. And then very slowly coming out of that and very gently transferring a little bit more weight in the direction of the back of your heels. And then come back to where you feel most upright and balanced. Slowly transfer your weight intentionally to stand in your right foot, leg, and hip, and you're softening in your left knee, you're bending your left knee as you do this. And then slowly bring yourself back up to upright. And has anything changed? And go the other way, intentionally bringing your weight into your left foot, leg, and hip, bending into your right knee, and feeling how you're shortening in your left side and you're lengthening in your right side. And leading with the right side of your pelvis. Take a step forward and go very, very slowly and feel what's happening as you are leading with your right pelvis, what's happening in your left shoulder. And then slowly take a step forwards so that your weight is now intentionally in your front right foot, leg, and hip. Your left leg is behind you. And leading with the left side of your pelvis, slowly bring the left side of your pelvis ahead of you. Feel what's happening in your right shoulder as you take a step forward with your right leg. And continue in this way, taking each step forwards slowly and intentionally, and come to walking. And as you are walking, as you are taking each step forward, what is happening in your pelvis? What is happening in your shoulders? Where are you looking on your horizon? And bring this awareness with you as you walk into the rest of your day. And thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Karen. Let me take a moment to adjust my camera. And I need my glasses. And I need to find myself. There I am. Okay. And add spotlight. Okay, now we're both spotlighted. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karen, so much. Whew, what a
Thank you for your patience, everyone, with the internet problems here in Cumbria.
we we did just fine, and thank you for following through and just picking up where you left off. That was great. And you are all welcome to stay for discussion after class. We are now I'm officially signing off. I don't think I gave the date at the beginning. I like to date these. Today is September 6th, 2025. 2025, and hope to see you next month. Karen will be back in 2 months with lesson 5. Thank you, everyone. Please stay if you would like to stay for the discussion.